Hello YouTube, out here today with some Darrel Ralph Kubaton Keychains. Yes, Darrel Ralph, very famous knife designer, does custom knives, has different lines of knives, is designed for many companies. Alright, these are what he calls the Kubatons, although they are a lot more pointed than most Kubatons I have seen. The length will vary a little bit. One of these is 5 inches and then the shorter one is 4 3/4 inches. Each one is unique. Okay, so the stats will vary a little bit. One great thing about these, the weight on these is around 0.8 ounces. Okay, so less than 1 ounce. Right, they are made of titanium. The one in the foreground is the bronzed, and the one above that they call the blue flame. And these go for around $35, which is actually very reasonable. You know, I've seen times where a custom knife maker would just make a little thing like a bottle opener and it would be like $100 for, you know, a signed bottle opener. I think $35 is a much more reasonable price. And just to give you a close-up, looks very nice. As I said, these are extremely pointed. I mean, most Kubatons that I have seen are rounded because it's not traditionally, it's to apply pressure to pressure points or to break bone rather than piercing. You know, I would actually, me personally, I would categorize this as a type of ice pick, you know, just because of how pointed it is. I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing out the feature. It's very unusual, very cool. But yeah, I mean, look at the geometry there. Take a look at the bronzed one. I mean, that's very cool. Very cool indeed. I don't know if it's quite small enough to put on a keychain. Guess it depends how big your keychain is. Now, as I said, these are titanium. They're not steel, you know, using titanium for the lightweight. I'm not going to like torture test this, but if you want to see it, you know, if you want to see it stab into something, well, there you go. It's very, you know, I mean, it's very pointed and it's basically very stabby if you want it to be. And here's a size comparison with a typical tactical pen. That's an Uzi tactical pen. And you can see these Kubaton keychains are actually significantly shorter than a lot of these tactical pens. Right, see that there? And the pen part is here. That's the glass breaker. Now with items like these, it's usually not recommended, at least by me, to carry something exclusively as a weapon, even if it's for self-defense. I would definitely recommend having alternative uses for this item. For example, it can be used to break a window if you're in a car wreck and you need to escape or rescue someone. It can be used to break a window. Around where I live, it's very cold. We get a lot of ice, and as I said, it's like an ice pick. I mean, I can chip away pieces of ice from different parts of my vehicle where my scraper can't reach. So I would use it as a rescue tool, a type of ice scraper. You can also use it as a paracord spike, and if you don't know what that is, spikes like this are used to loosen knots and to work with paracord. Okay, so there are many alternative uses aside from, you know, piercing a person. So if you were to carry this, I would advise you to have many alternative uses in mind. Just for legal reasons, I don't advise carrying or saying that you're carrying something only as weaponry. So just, you know, be smart about it. And if you want to see what it looks like on an actual keychain, you know, this is what it would look like. I do think it's a little bit long for a keychain, although at less than 1 ounce, it's not going to weigh it down. You could also round off the pointed tip, because even if you rounded it, it would still be just as good at using it against pressure points, and it could still cause fractures. But if you rounded it a little, you wouldn't have to worry about it like sticking you or accidentally slicing you as you grab for your keys. So you might think about that, but yeah, I don't know. It would be pretty cool to have on a keychain. Depends how, you know, how much stuff you want on your keychain. Okay, so pretty cool. As I said, a much more reasonable price than some of like the custom like beads and things or bottle openers that'll be $100 just because it was, you know, machined by a custom maker. $35 is reasonable. They have many alternative uses as well. They're just plain cool, they're lightweight. So yeah, I'm happy with these. I mean, I thought they're cool enough to get 2 of them. And they're also collectible as well if you like Darrel Ralph. So, Darrel Ralph Kubaton / ice pick / keychain / collectibles. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. It's been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.